Welcome to the death of the authentic. Hello there. What's up? It's crazy times, I know. It's way too intense how we're at the beginning of a third world war. Fun! Yay! Okay, I know. It's even hard for me to bring these topics up at the time where, very depressive assimilations are happening, such as people who decide to go for war. But this is part of why I'm speaking. So, hello. I'm here to continue and follow up on our discourse, follow up on the previous video which I started explaining about the terms accommodation and assimilation. Yes. I know terms are funny, terms are weird, terms are complex, but this is the vocabulary. So, I'm here to bridge the gap of language with me and you, I guess, as part of this philosophy. So let's talk about today about vital accommodations. Woohoo! Yeah, vital accommodations are extremely necessity, but they are rarely happening, and that's okay. It's part of the current state, but it's not where I as a person would want to live in this kind of reality. Like, I would want something so much better for me and for other people around me, like, let's say, not live in a war zone or states, for example. This is just a very, very obvious example, because this is the state of a very depressive assimilation, that it's already inherently part of the structure that we accommodated. I'll do it as a quick recap, Let's do that. Accommodation is when it's a condition which a body, a cell, a subject, the mind, the individual, is required to adapt and change the structures that they know, the language that they know, the behavior that they know, and even perform, or even the cell, what the cell does to survive. They need to quickly adjust to some threat, change of conditions, new reality, new perceptions, whatever is touching the unfamiliar within the subconscious. Now, once we accommodate, with time, we assimilate. Assimilation is the prolong of the accommodation, or maybe we say the prolonging, right? Whatever, you understand what I'm saying. Assimilation is when it's embedded within the body, embedded within the stories, embedded within the mind, embedded within the cell or the function of the cell. Now, depressive assimilation is a thing that occurs when information, or there is exaggerations of quantity that our senses can, receive, and there is a confusion or lack of clarity or lack of understanding or boundaries on what kind of accommodations has made or inside the body, because the body already is one whole body. And if it functions as is, and in correlation to, violent behaviors, mental behaviors, etc., 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 it simultaneously leads to excessive excessive perceptions, closed perceptions that are attached to the familiar. Now, I hope it was clear, and if not, just say so. So I'm here to talk about vital accommodations. Now, it's vital because we want to live. We want to let other, creatures live, as they should, as they want, as their body and soul needs. Now, vital accommodation is very hard. Very, very, very hard. When we are living in this age when there is so much quantity and less quality of accommodations that are available to us, and sometimes we aspire for the depressive assimilation, therefore we want to accommodate to this kind of depressive assimilation. Now, vital, it means very selective because it's vital. Vital means something rare. Life are the meaning of everything at the same time. It's hard to understand it, it's hard to see it, it's hard to get to the understanding of how and why mushrooms have decided to live on this planet, or why do we as humankind are at the stage that we are in relation to other species that we are living alongside. Okay, this is complex, okay? Was weird, maybe not clear. So I will try to bring a few examples for accommodation, depressive assimilation, and vital accommodation. Let's say I was born in a female body, okay? I was told about things about my hair, my body, my teeth, my butt, my body hair, my body fats, my skin, my eyes, my eyebrows, all of those. Now, I sensed all of those things. I even witnessed commercials, or behaviors within outside circles, not just at home, at school, or even at the supermarket, or wherever, Now, I assimilated those. And part of the depressive assimilation is that I was really believing in all of those things. Like, I removed all my body hair, like body hair, whatever. I removed everything. The perception that a body that has hair is less clean is a depressive assimilation, because factually it's not truth. Of course, it's in relation to misogyny and gender identities. Okay, I know this was a weird cut, but unfortunately I don't, I've had problems, so I had to do a massive cut here. Sorry about that. Now let's refocus, take the lens and use the focus pull, to re-narrow it down to our previous discourse, right? Accommodation, simulation, and vital accommodations. Ta. Well, so I was starting with the difficulty of understanding the boundaries of what accommodations should we perform. Now, I wanted to bring some examples for depressive assimilations and the daily accommodations that are creating those, and vital accommodations as example. Well, let's start with hair on the body, okay? Hair on the body, yeah, like those that I have, maybe here, and here maybe, and here, of course. Look how sexy. And in my legs, my flexible legs. So now that you've seen all of those, you can understand what I'm trying to refer, right? And it's not just about the procedures that human bodies are making to remove hair that is actually better for hygiene. By the way, female who shave everything, and it's creepy and slightly pedophilic or nymphomanic, or not that I have problems with those, it's just like the consequences that they make. You know, if a female replicates a conceptual that is a depressive conceptual, how is it beneficial to herself, to her body, to the humankind who witness her? Or let's say pimples. We all talk about pimples and their relation to cleanness and beauty and aesthetics and purity, etc. Like, we all have heard that this is disgusting, that this is not right, this is not what's supposed to be on the body, that it's relation to sugar, to fats, to blah, 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 blah. All of this is just like marketing of accommodations, and eventually creating depressive accommodations, because, well, we're living in a post-traumatic society, so people will say mean stuff around, like, to each other, because they are in trauma about themselves, about the other, about their body. A lot of body dysmorphia, a lot of gender dysmorphia. And like, people are buying, like, what is depressive accommodation? People are buying a product that is telling you that it will help your pimples, instead of talking with a therapist. This is vital accommodation, yeah? Talking to a therapist about why pimples make us so anxious and fear for our body. Why is this get stuck in our head? Now people don't want to speak with a therapist about why they're so anxious that they like touch every pimple that they have because they want to be perfect skin, whatever. They will buy a product that say, this is much better. You will look so much better. You will look aesthetic. You will have a smiley, a star here. You will look cool. But no, I don't think this is cool. I think this is just depressive assimilation. And people are afraid to really speak about why they're doing this, why they are displacing the whole anxiety of pimples into a product. Let's say about, female bodies who are like, or even just bodies, it's with males as well, like who have eating disorders because they want to feel better about themselves. It's a depressive assimilation of all the accommodations that people perform when they hear discourses about food, about body, about sport, about shape, about what's supposed to be right. There is no such thing right. There is no such thing like the most aesthetic and most beautiful, despite the culture representations, right? Now, when I say vital, it's because we have to do this. It's like water. We don't drink, it's like literally our brain stopped drinking water, and instead water, we drink plastic. Like nails. Why would female bodies like make their bodies less mobile? It's literally creating malfunction of the hands or eyelashes, or male who just change their fats in their bodies to create, a pack, or that they put something in their jaws to make their jaws look tighter, sharper, or that they have like eating disorders and orthorexia when they're like 6 days a week pumping their muscles, not understanding the muscle is getting tighter, less flexible, and more like possibilities for damage, future damage. It's like, it's vital because our body needs water and we don't give it to it. We don't give it to eat. We don't. We don't feed our bodies and our mind and our souls with informations and accommodations that are actually helping us, hydrate. And I feel like it's making me slightly frustrated I'm frustrated. Because I want humankind to literally feel the most comfortable and understand what boundaries within themselves and within others are a necessity for their soul, for their, soul purpose, tikkun olam, those kind of stuff. I will continue with depressive assimilations. So, how is depressive assimilation comes when you're like a high professor, like a professor in an academy, and you're like, you were poor, or you're transgender, or you had some difficulties in your life and you had to overcome it by going to the academia. Now, this is a depressive assimilation because going to the academia not gonna help it or resolve it or anything else, but it will add more accommodations that you will need to choose, and more harder it will become to choose the vital accommodation. Like even myself, when I say I'm an artist, I'm part of this artist group, I'm part of these people who succeeded and went to the academy and like were very, very great students, and like I graduated with honors, blah, blah, blah. It's all depressive assimilation of myself. Because when I went there, I received and was receptive to hear so much accommodations that I had to perform, because they put me in a box of a student. I had to perform as a student and not something that they say is not. I needed to be less smart. I needed to be less, to be less voicey, to make my opinions less heard, etc. Now, every person who operates in those kind of hierarchies, whether it's in the academia, whether it's in hospitals, whether it's in whatever, it can be everywhere. It can be in the grocery store, okay? We all accommodate. We have to. It's part of what we do to survive. But when we accommodate to something that for the long time will affect us depressively, as well as on the people who are we in relationships with or we have a relation to, it's creating toxic relationships. It's just toxifying them. And when people get to higher levels or positions, it's even get worse. And it's not just in structures, it's in the culture. Like Nepo babies, right? How much depressive assimilation they probably have. I don't know if they know how to treat themselves. Like, it's even scary to think about it. Like, do they know what they need regardless of their situation? Do they know what they don't need? Do they know how to say this? Do they know how to bear life? The complexities of life? Are they even in touch with the complexities of life? This is depressive assimilation because their soul is not able to touch the reality. Like the tangent, like stuff, the things that we are observing and that are actually making us feel alive. So this was longer than I thought. It was more, I had to do something with my hair after all. And I'm collecting this. I'm collecting my body, I'm collecting my hair. I'm trying to be mindful, take things more slowly, and understand that everything, even buy a plastic cup of coffee, is in relationship with bigger stuff, with bigger depressive assimilations that we just accommodated because we felt that this is what's needed for our vision, for our fantasy of happiness. And I really want happiness to be, especially for those who have to depressively assimilate more and more and more and more and more in order to overcome the difficulties of life, or to fulfill some of their dreams. So I will conclude this here. I hope that it was vital, and if not, just let me know. Okay. It's hard times, and I hope we will choose the vital accommodations to be active listeners and to be mindful of what we say and perform in this area when everything is weaponized. So I'm going to take my armor down. I'm not going to be defensive, and it's part of a vital accommodations that I'm trying to do. And I'm going to use not the most accurate words. I'm going to do that because I'm a human and I'm not editing this so much. This is part of it. So I hope to meet you, not edited too much, next time. I can't do this, I'm sorry. I almost broke my fingers. See, but see you next time.